Welcome. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. It's 4 p.m. and I would like to open the Town Council meeting of Bowling Green. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now take a roll call. Councilwoman Davis. Here. Councilman Voigt. Here. Councilman Webb. Here. Dr. Chenault will be coming in. We'll deal with that in a few minutes. Vice Mayor Coyle. Here. Councilman Stork. Here. Councilman Hageman, not present at the moment. We have a quorum. We need a motion. Do you have the town attorney on the phone already? Oh, I hear you. Hello, Jeff. Thank you. Oh, is that John?
Well, let me try this. I move to allow Mr. Chenault to join the meeting per the requirements of our
electronically.
Second. Per our electronic policy.
And I have a second from Councilman Stork. Is there any discussion? Welcome. You're fine. We have a motion on the table to accept our Councilman Chenault by electronic. So we're at discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Welcome, John. So I have a full council tonight. First item on our agenda, we have our consent agenda, items 1 through 4. Item number 4, cancellation of the town council meeting should read July 2nd, not July 3rd. There was a clerical error there. Do any of these items need to be pulled out for council? Do I have a motion to accept these items?
I make a motion we accept the consent agenda.
I have a motion to accept items 1 through 4. Second. Second from Councilwoman Davis. Is there any discussion? Mr. Smith, would you take a roll call, please?
Councilmember Hageman. Here. All right.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Coyle.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Chenault. Councilmember Voigt.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. We will next move on to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the podium, state your name, your address. You have 3 minutes to speak. You will direct your discussion to me, and per our rules, our council cannot respond to any of your questions or comments. So at this time, I would like to open public comment. Does anyone wish to come forward? Welcome, Mr. Bagat.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Mayor, and all council members. My name is Mike Bagat. I'm a property owner at 18080 APL Boulevard in Lexington. I'm here today to request the town council to consider adjustment to special district tax that was paid in 2025 December, which was over tax for special districts. After reviewing the information and document provided by the town manager and town staff, it appears that property owner whose assessment increase ended up paying more than their fair share, while property whose value stayed at the same or decreased paid less. I appreciate the town manager and staff for their excellent work in providing the necessary document and information so that matter can be properly understood and reviewed by me. And in order to correct this issue fairly, I respectfully ask you that town council consider approving either revised special district tax for 2025 or an adjustment or correction for the billing already issued. I would also like to request that in future taxpayer be informed in advance of any major changes affecting special district tax, so property owner clearly understand how the changes are calculated. As you all know, I don't have any personal issue with any town council member or any staff. This is I would like to request that in future taxpayer inform this so we can prepare better. My goal simply to help improve this tax system, special district, and ensure fairness and transparency for future tax payment, especially while this loan is being refinanced. Thank you all for your leadership, service, and consideration. Also, if you need any help, I'm available. If you guys want to create any special committee for it, I'm for it. And also, there is some town council member, they have said that it will be taken care. And some of town council members, they are in special district tax. So I would like to know how would they take care in future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Begat. Would anyone else like to come forward at this time? Going once, twice, we'll now close public comment. At this time, I would like to open it up to member comments. Ms. Davis?
I would just like to thank Indra and staff for doing a great job on preparing the budget.
Thank you. Councilman Roy?
Okay, just one, real news thing. Next week on the 16th is the clean sweep. I don't know how many we have registered at the moment, but it should be pretty fun, 8 to 1.
None, okay. John, do you have anything? Okay. And Mr. Hageman?
No.
I have a couple of things. We had Mindful Miles Saturday. We had over 220 people in town. More than half of them were not Caroline County residents. It was a tremendously successful event. I had a blast. Indy ran, Jeff ran. It was, we had a great group, and I look forward to doing that again in the future. Also, Dr. Chip Campbell, your uncle-in-law, has practiced in this community. He's a dentist. He's right across the street over here. He has been in this community for decades, and he is retiring. So I would like to, as the mayor, thank Chip Campbell for his wonderful service to the town of Bowling Green, and we wish him great, great retirement, leisure time. And then the last thing on here, our own India Adams Jacobs, our town manager, is being honored with the Public Service Champions Award. This is put out by the 250 Local Gov 250 initiative, and also by the National Academy of Public Administration. This is an honor. 250 people are receiving this award. That averages out to 5 per state. There are thousands and thousands of jurisdictions all over this country. And we are so proud that you are receiving this award, so thank you. And with that, we will move on to the next item. I guess we have a resolution. So the public, let's see, the Service Recognition Week resolution. Whereas the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 has been designated as Public Service Recognition Week to honor employees of federal, state, and local governments and members of the uniformed services who are entrusted with missions fundamental to the United States and deliver services upon which residents depend. Whereas Public Service Recognition Week provides an opportunity to recognize and promote the important contributions of public servants and to honor those who serve their country, Commonwealth, and local communities at all levels of government. Whereas public servants take a solemn oath to support and uphold the Constitution of the United States and faithfully discharge the duties of their office, reflecting a commitment to the people they serve. Whereas public servants of the town of Bowling Green and across the nation work diligently each day to provide essential services that protect public health and safety, maintain infrastructure, support economic development, and enhance the quality of life for residents. Whereas public servants contribute significantly to the strength and stability of local economies by managing public resources, maintaining critical systems, and ensuring the effective delivery of services that community rely upon. Whereas public service is a noble calling that requires dedication, professionalism, and a commitment to serve others, often under challenging circumstances, and those who serve demonstrate perseverance and a continual commitment to their communities. Whereas Public Service Recognition Week serves as an opportunity for the town of Bowling Green to express its appreciation for the hard work, integrity, and dedication of its employees and all public servants who serve the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council in the town of Bowling Green, Virginia, that the Town Council hereby recognizes May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Public Service Recognition Week in the town of Bowling Green. The town commends the dedication, professionalism, and commitment of all public servants who provide essential services to the residents of Bowling Green and beyond. The town acknowledges the vital role public servants play in strengthening the community, protecting public safety, and sustaining effective and responsive local government. The Town Council encourages all residents of Bowling Green to observe Public Service Recognition Week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and expressions of appreciation that honor the service and contributions of the public servants. This was adopted this 7th day of May, 2026. We will now move on to item number 5, the Bowling Green Police Department Chief Cecil. What? Well, we supposed to adopt it?
Does it need to be adopted, or was that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the attorney here to prompt me on. Go on. Okay, thank you. Chief Cecil. Good afternoon. Hold on a minute. What, Mr. Moore?
So they need to adopt it if it wasn't in the consent.
It wasn't.
Right? Yeah.
let's take one break real quick, Chief Cecil. May I have a motion from this council to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, and may I have a second? Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. We have adopted the resolution. Thank you. Chief Cecil, could you please give us your police report?
Does anybody have any questions about it?
No, does this reflect the hit and run of the,
One of them was,
okay. And did we ever find anything out about that? Who may have done it or, okay,
we've gotten some video footage.
very good.
Your Michael?
Should be. Hello?
Is it green or red?
Red or green? No.
Let me turn mine, does that help?
No, it's on a different circuit.
Hello?
Just speak up.
I'll pick up.
Yeah, you got it, you're loud. Good.
But yes, one of them was just video quality wasn't as good.
Okay. Are there any questions for Chief at this time?
No.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you for your public service. Next item on here is the utilities report from Lynn Bowden. All of you have that in your packet.
Jamie is away attending to another emergency somewhere else. But he's not going to be here this afternoon, as well as Mr. Fortune. So if you have any questions, I can follow up with both them, 6 and 7.
Okay, so if there are any questions, you can direct them to the town manager, and she will get the answers to your questions.
I do have one question.
Go for it.
You know, India, we talked about Dominion Power and the poles, specifically on Milford Street. You know, they've replaced a number of poles. So now we have the double poles. I don't know if this is the time to go into it, but I mean, how do we ensure that they remove the secondary pole like we discussed before?
Yeah, we've begun compiling that list and sent that to them. There has been a change in their government affairs rep. Mr. Murray was just here last month, but now there's someone else. So I'll be having a conversation with the new representative about that promise and continue to follow up on that.
So we'll be getting our emails from somebody else from now on?
Yes, ma'am. Her
Okay,
name escapes me at the moment, but I will send you an introduction.
okay, thank you. Any other questions about our public works or utilities? Okay, we'll move on. Next is the finance director's report. You all have that in front of you. Were there any questions from this council to be directed in that manner? Any questions from council? If not, I'm going to move on. Next is item number 9. We're going to move on to the town manager's report, and at this time, I will turn this over to Ms. India Adams Jacobs.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to just thank Chief Cecil and Officer Early for helping with the man-for-man race and ensuring that we had public safety, as well as Carolina County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Mosier for providing safety for the race this past weekend. Everything went great, and we're already looking forward to next year. I'd also like to thank all of our staff for public safety or public service recognition week for this week of May. And in close, you'll see in the report, I'll just focus on 2 items. One is the PER that we are required to submit to VDH ahead of our May 1st deadline, working with the team as well as Stantec. That was provided to VDH on April 30th. And then we did receive a free demo for a manhole unloading by ART at Courthouse in Ennis last week, which will provide an additional potentially 10 to 15 years on that manhole for preventative maintenance. There's a lot more in the report, but in the interest of time, I'll be brief and just thank the team for all of their hard work. And I'd also like to introduce Mr. Hickman, if he would come up briefly, who's serving as our interim finance director due to a vacancy. And I'll let him give a brief background on himself, and then we'll jump into item number 10.
Welcome, Mr. Hickman.
Okay, good afternoon, council members. I did have an opportunity to speak with several of you on Tuesday. But again, my name is Perry Hickman, and I've actually, I recently came on board with the town as an interim finance director. Prior to joining the town, I worked with USDA Rural Development as a state director, wherein I actually assisted worked throughout the entire state with their housing issues, working with water and waste projects, also working with essential community facilities. So some of those talents will be actually utilized here within the town of Bowling Green. I know that there are several projects that are underway as far as the preliminary engineering report is being worked on as it pertains to your water and your wastewater projects. So looking forward to working with each of you as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Adams-Jacobs, is there anything else on your report, or would you like to move on to the playground replacement proposal?
No. Ready to move on to playground replacement. I think as we spoke last time, Sean and Mr. Fortune gave an update on some of the VRSA findings from our buildings and grounds review from our insurance company, and one of those was the replacement of the playground. And so we reached out to a company, Carolina Rec, who's going to be here to give just a couple concepts on replacement briefly for council consideration at a later date. So with that, I will bring up Mr. Ross.
Well, hello, everybody. As India mentioned, I'm Ross Goldrum. I am the sales representative and project manager for Carolina Rec in Virginia. I guess before I get started, too, I want to thank everybody for your public service and the opportunity to present here today. So much appreciated. So yes, here is the presentation for the playground. India, Sean, and myself, we met back in March and walked through the existing playground sites out here at Bowling Green Playground, both the 5 to 12 and the 2 to 5 ages areas. As part of this meeting, we reviewed the existing conditions and came up with some key objectives to mitigate liability, as well as to enhance the space and lead you guys into having a safe, fun environment for the kids that come out to play on this playground. So through this meeting, the key objectives that we found which is included in our proposal, is a proposed removal and replacement of aging and non-compliant equipment. So the existing swing set that is out there is compliant, it's safe, and we plan to keep that structure. We've measured the existing use zones of that structure, and our new designs incorporate that as part of the new equipment. So in addition to that, the existing tire swing was found to have a use zone issue. So that, with India's collaboration, is planned to be removed by the town prior to our involvement on the project, as well as the main playground structure that is in the 5 to 12 area. We found there to be a number of compliance issues with the ASTM and ADA, and so by removing that, we'll relinquish those from the site. Additionally, in that 2 to 5 area, we found that essentially all of the 2 to 5 playground equipment in that space falls short of the current and most stringent ASTM and ADA guidelines. So again, as part of the proposal, we're proposing to remove and replace that equipment with similar and compliant equipment. In addition to the playground equipment, we're also proposing removal and replacement of the playground surfacing. So what's currently there is engineered wood fiber, which is what we are proposing as the new surface at a compliant depth that is rated for the specific fall height of whichever equipment you guys select. Tying in with that new mulch system will be a new border system. So in replacement of the existing pressure-treated timbers, which what we've seen over the years has a tendency to rot and splinter, we're proposing a replacement using 12 and 8-inch composite borders. They will last longer than all of us, and they're interlocking, very easy to install, and also easy to relocate if you guys ultimately decide to expand the playground at some point in the future. So additionally, addressing the ADA accessibility components of the site. So with the town proposing to remove the existing equipment prior to our involvement in the scope, we will come in and do light grading to promote healthy drainage of the space, as well as to ensure smooth access and ADA compliant access into the playground area, as well as creating those smooth transition points throughout the play space that ASTM and ADA requires. Which again ties into the last bullet point and objective here, which is correcting the grade and the drainage of the space, while also using the new designs that we're proposing to correct the layout and use zone issues that we found. So what you'll see in the coming slides are dotted lines around the equipment. Those are ASTM use zones. Those are non-encroachment zones. You can't have borders inside of those areas, and that's what we found to be the case in some of the spots on the existing playground. So just a quick overview on the two different age groups and designs that we're proposing that I'll go over in the coming slides here. For the 2 to 5 area, we've developed one option with a small playground structure. All of the equipment in this ages 2 to 5 area is rated specifically for children ages 2 to 5. So it includes a small playground structure. It includes a variety of farm-themed motion toys or coil-mounted spring toys, as well as the borders and engineered wood fiber that I had mentioned previously. Uniquely for the ages 2 to 5 area, we're also proposing a full removal and replacement of the existing play sand area with new play sand. And then for the ages 5 to 12 area, we're proposing 3 different options at varying price points from $35,000 to $66,000. Each option is turnkey. Again, this area, similar to the 2 to 5 area, will have the matching engineered wood fiber, safety compliant surfacing at the necessary depth for the fall height of the equipment, as well as the borders. So having consistency between the two areas is important, but I'd say paramount to everything, safety and compliance with those ADA and ASTM standards. So here's a quick overview on the ages 2 to 5 area. And you can see, as I mentioned, the small playground structure. This is the back side of it. But some key things to know here are the play sand area. You'll notice that this is an expanded area. It's a couple hundred square feet larger than the existing area. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. Just a quick zoom in on the equipment here. These are the 4 different coil-mounted spring riders that I mentioned previously. Went with farm themed, try to pick up on the greens as an ode to the town's colors here. Other important things to note, the ADA stair entry. So this is sort of one of the key elements that is found to be missing on the existing equipment, with ADA compliant handrails and barriers on the side, as well as the step heights from the finished floor elevation to that first step on the playground system. Additionally, featured on this playground, you'll have a variety too here, play panels, a wave mirror panel, and a bubble window panel. These structures are modular. Everything is custom made to order, so these panels can be interchanged fairly easily at a later date or during the design process itself. And then also, kids love to slide, so we've incorporated a 2-foot single slide on this unit. So, and there also you can see the interlocking borders going around the perimeter. So they're black borders. They come in green too, so something to consider as, again, just an ode to the town's colors here. So,
May I ask?
Yeah.
One of the things that I see that is lacking on here are shade sails. that is one of the complaints I get from parents is the heat, the lack of any shade over there, which makes it
Yeah.
not really conducive to bringing their children there to play. So what, if anything, are we going to do to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this current offering does not include any sort of freestanding fabric shade structures. And speaking with India is kind of the way I approach fabric shade structure scenarios, because as part of one of the key offerings that our company has are those commercial fabric shades. We're an unlimited Class A contractor and have a distributorship agreement with some national suppliers for these commercial shades. So it's absolutely something that we can do. I look at shade solutions sort of twofold, where that on the one hand, it's important to have shade for parents and kids and supervisors who are trying to get off the equipment and take a break from the sun, which you have currently in that pavilion that's out there. And so now in this space, if we look at sort of, and you'll actually see this on the next slide, these are the use zones of the equipment that we're proposing. So those dotted lines, there cannot be anything inside of those dashed lines. Now, the overlapping that you see is in part of the ASTM guidelines. So depending on the height of the equipment, what piece of equipment it is, there are certain rules where these use zones can be overlapped. So don't be concerned about the crossing of those dotted dashed lines. But there is space here. If you look north and south of that playground structure, where that you could theoretically place a 4-post hip shade structure. And the cost turnkey with permitting, engineering, material, freight, and install would put you somewhere in the ballpark of $12,000 to $15,000.
Okay, thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Any from council?
Yeah.
The sand. I have issues with sand, sorry. Is there going to be any kind of, I mean, that's a pretty big plot. You can't really cover it.
One thing that's
I'm concerned about cats, I'm concerned about animals, et cetera, and then you have little kids going in there.
Getting
You don't really see
toxoplasmosis.
too many sand anymore in playgrounds.
I agree. And part of why we placed this there was to just carry over sort of the general layout and design elements of what is existing. But by no means are you required to get this sand area. So very easily what we could do is remove that section of borders that's closing off that back side. Now, as far as shade is concerned, I'll mention to you that what you cannot see on this plan is right where that notch is in the bottom left-hand corner of the border, there's a tree, a large tree that's right there. So, from a shade perspective, depending on the time of day, you might get some nice shade that's casted out there. But it's a great point and something that it is absolutely your decision as to what you guys find the best for that space. By removing that bordered section and removing the sand from the scope, you could easily spread the equipment out a little bit more. Yeah, and you could add, say, more spring riders. You could spread the spring riders out, increase the height or the size of the structure. So there's a lot that you can do with that space. The sand itself and that area of the scope is very cost effective. So just something to consider that, by bringing in more playground equipment and mulch, you'll likely see, a net increase in the cost versus just having sand with no equipment there. But it's absolutely an option and something that we'd be happy to redesign and sort of show you what those options are and the cost differences involved with making that change.
So you have 3 motion toys for the 2 to 5 area.
Yes.
Is there anything in lieu or similar of that could be innovative, mobile, modules that they can utilize interactive instead of sitting on something doing this?
Yeah.
And maybe they could just...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have sensory panels, so whether that be chimes or bongos or xylophones. So I'd say it sort of depends on which play activity you're after, right? If we look at climbing for the young kids, we have climbing options. We have balancing options. What we've found to be very popular are balance options. They're very low to the ground. They're safe. So whether that be, say a wiggle beam, a balance beam that sort of moves in different areas that then transitions you into, say, log steppers, or a small crawl tunnel, creating those cozy spots for children, or whether it could also be auditory style play, like those music panels. So there's a lot of options, and sort of what I try to hone in on with my customers and with India as we work together on this is, let's think about the sort of play activities that we're trying to accomplish here for the kids. Some like a lot of variety, and some don't want the variety. They want there to be as much climbing as possible or as much balance as possible. I think it really just sort of depends on what all you have to offer in the area and what you're really trying to hit on for that space. But if the objective is, hey, we want to sort of have a mixture of everything, it's absolutely something that we can do.
Thank you.
You said the swing set can stay because it's compliant. Does it have like an ADA seat for a child who?
It does, yes.
I haven't gone over to look.
Yeah, they have, so they basically look like big car seats with a harness that comes over and latches in between their lap. Those seats are not cheap. They're like $2,300, $2,500 just for the seat. But yeah, right now, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, India, it's 2 belt seats and 2 bucket seats on the swing.
Yeah, I think that sounds correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing to consider with swings is that you can put an ADA swing seat in the same bay. So if you have every swing bay, unless you have say a disc swing, like the blue arches that are out there, that's a single unit swing. But for most swings, like the ones that you have, they're 2-seat bays. And within each bay, you can have a bucket seat and an ADA seat, but you can't do a belt seat and an ADA seat, and you can't do a belt seat and a bucket seat in the same bay. It's limiting the range of motion for the users. So just something to consider. The short answer to your question is yes, absolutely. You can do an ADA seat with the existing swing that you have. You'll just be limited to placing it inside of the bay that has the bucket seats.
Okay.
Which will be on the right side, if I'm remembering correctly. The right side if you're standing at the playground looking at the swings.
Will ADA actually come in at the end of this project and go through and look at it?
Not by us, but I would strongly encourage you guys to have them come in and look at it and make sure. And another thing that I would strongly suggest is having a certified playground safety inspector. Now, I am a certified playground safety inspector, but as part of the code of ethics in the CPSI guidelines, I can't, as a contractor and builder, provide you with that safety inspection.
Correct.
So strongly recommend that you guys do that. Ensure that the build quality, once we're finished, is in compliance with ADA and ASTM standards, which is what the CPSI and ADA will help take you through. And certainly if any corrective action is needed on our side after that, we'll handle that through a punch list.
Very good. Do you have a hard copy of this presentation?
Not with me, but I can mail you on it.
That would be preferable,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. So this is the first design that we put together for the ages 5 to 12 area. So, sorry, it's a little dark. So on this playground, from the front-facing view here, you can see in that right corner an ADA transfer station. So again, with these 5 to 12 playground structures, that is an ADA requirement to have that transfer station there. So that a child who's in a wheelchair, but that also has upper body mobility, can go next to the transfer station and pivot themselves off and be able to access the playground. Oh, okay. Additionally, what you'll find on this, and you'll see this sort of featured across each of the 3 designs, is the crater wall climber. It's just a fun and unique access point onto one of the decks. Additionally, we'll have the spacewalk climber, a play counter for imaginary play, and something that will help, albeit it's not the perfect solution to your shade question, is our contemporary style lean-to roofs. So those do a good job at casting some shade onto the playground. It's not the end-all be-all solution, but it will help to cut down some of the heating of the equipment that's sitting beneath it. So, and then a wave slide. So in this instance, this is a 4-foot wave slide. Thank Thank you. This is the backside of the structure. Again, you can see the sort of activity panels. This is the same kind of activity panel, the Happy Landings activity panel that you've seen on the 2 to 5 structure. Again, these are interchangeable. We have a huge amount of offerings for these, and ultimately, if you guys want to look and see what those options are and pick and choose that these panels curated to what the community needs, they're interchangeable. They all cost the same, easy to fix and swap around. So. And then also here is featured as a new product of ours. It's a geode climber, sort of a modern take to deck accessing on a playground. So again, this is just the backside of that same structure. This is the site plan, again with the use zones. I'll just point those out to you here. The photo there of the existing surface level spinner is not to scale. I just mentioned that, but everything else is to scale. As you can see, those are the existing swing sets that we plan to keep, and that is the new playground structure that we're proposing, as well as the new bordered area that's surrounding everything. And you can see, as a critical path item, making sure that those borders do not go anywhere inside of the dashed lines, which are the use zones. All right, so this is the option 2 playground. So slightly larger, and you'll notice how the size, actually, one thing I'll mention, this one, you have the option on this design to keep that surface level spinner. There is enough room with the use zone of the playground structure and the swings to keep that, if you so choose. So just a quick note. On options 2 and 3, that you will not be able to do. Okay. So this is, again, you can see sort of the purpose of this is to show you a variety of colors. All of our colors are fully customizable. There's no additional cost for colors. At the very end, once a design is selected, we'll furnish a 3D link to our playground equipment, and you guys can go through the model, look at it in a bunch of different angles, click pre-selected color palettes, edit the colors however you'd like, and send us the final iteration of what you ultimately select. If you go to the next slide. So the key features on this one, the structure is relatively similar to the last one, although there is the additional slide. And the big feature here are the additional climbing apparatuses coming off of the backside of the structure. And I don't have this memorized, but at the bottom there's a play capacity. And this one has a play capacity of 36 kids, which means that 36 kids can play at this playground at any given point comfortably without feeling like the space is cramped. The last option, 23. Now, also, that's just for the playground structure. That does not include the swing sets or the 2 to 5 area. It's just for this.
This is just the 5 to 12 area.
Correct.
And you provide pets to boot?
Yes. Yeah, the monkey is included in our offer.
Awesome.
The play capacity of the 2 to 5 area, just as a note, is 12. Now, that was just for the equipment, so you can fit more kids comfortably on that space with the sand area, and certainly that number would go up if you decided to remove that and replace it with something else. So, all right, you could skip to, I'm getting a look that I need to kind of speed it up here, so. Yes.
That review.
All right, so this is the option 3. The biggest difference here that you're going to see, and if you kind of flip back and forth between option 2 and 1 and option 3, the biggest what you'll notice is this 6-foot deck. All the max height of the other designs, the deck, max height deck height is 4 feet, which means the slides are 4 feet tall, which means the access components to the decks are 4 feet tall. And this one in particular, the bottom level right there where you see that double slide, that's 4 feet. So if you can imagine designs 1 and 2, that's going to be the max height. In option 3, you have the additional 2 feet of height, which makes it a little bit more exciting. The roof structure increases in height, adding to the focal point and the architecture.
Children 9 to 12 who are taller and.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ultimately, this is going to really enhance the play value and the risk-taking abilities for the children that fall on the older side of the age grouping at 5 to 12. It's a big range, and in the playground industry, the age ranges are set 6 to 23 months, 2 to 5, and 5 to 12.
So you have presented 3 options here. What are the prices for each option?
That is in a subsequent slide.
Okay.
We'll get to that
I'm getting
here
ahead of you
shortly.
then.
No, it's okay. So again, similar to the option 2 here, and you know, another thing I'll point out is this structure has 2 of the lean-to roofs. You have a triangle lean-to roof. So again, just adding to the focal point of the structure. And this one in particular, you can see off to the right-hand side the crater wall from the previous designs, but this one is 6 feet, as well as the geoclimber at 6 feet as opposed to 4 feet and 2 feet in those previous designs. And the climbing apparatus, just to bring some of the kids off the playground, relieve some of the traffic that you may experience on this playground structure, and also give them that sort of feel of an obstacle course that sort of takes them in and around the site. So this is option 3. This is the site plan, so you can see sort of the scale difference of the different options. So it takes up a large majority of that corner in space. And for something like this, the locations of the swings, given that they're existing, they're fixed. But that structure could be oriented, twisted in a variety of different ways. We could shift it over into the other corner, center it, give you guys the ability to either expand in the future or just lock it in to where it is now. So.
A quick one. When you talk about those use zones and the proximity and anything, does stuff that's outside of the play area have an impact? Like how close things are? Because the parking's right up on the border of it. The pavilion is only 3 feet from it. Does any of that impact those considerations?
No. So there's no use zones on borders, right? So if you have something that's really close to a border, say you have a parking lot that butts right up against the border, what matters is that the equipment is set back from that border. So in the case of a parking lot, right, I've had a lot of clients ask me, well, should we get a fence? It depends on the speed of the vehicular traffic, right? Because you don't need a fence per se in a parking lot. If it was a small roadway, I'd say absolutely get a fence. I mean, the key thing here is kids wandering off the playground. And so if there's any concern on your end that kids might be wandering into the parking lot with their driving cars, you know, I don't know how active and busy that parking lot is. But to answer your question as far as use zones are concerned, what really matters is what's inside of that bordered area. Now, there is such thing as overhead clearance. So you can't have 84 inches above the tallest elevated play surface, or really any play surface. You have to have 84 inches of overhead clearance from any sort of foreign objects, but you don't have that issue on this site. So, but trees would be one, you know. So something to consider if you were to put playground area in the sand and the 2 to 5 playground equipment in the sand area of the 2 to 5 site, you might put yourself into a situation where you have to trim that tree back every once in a while to maintain the overhead clearance. Yeah.
Other questions from council?
Sorry, I should be asking you guys.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So just a quick run through on what the scheduling will look like. So once we have a notice to proceed from the town, we will generate the link to the 3D model. If you'd like, I'm happy to generate that for you early. But ultimately, what kickstarts the fabrication process is a notice to proceed from the town with finalized color selections. From the time of fabrication start to shipping the materials to site, it's roughly 8 to 10 weeks. We'll communicate throughout the duration of fabrication sort of progress updates. I know that the town is planning or proposing to handle the removal of the existing equipment, so we'll make sure that nothing shows up early or in advance of when you guys are ready, to avoid a scenario where you have tens of thousands of dollars of playground equipment sitting in the parking lot. So we'll handle all of the logistics and coordination, and then once we receive the thumbs up from the town that the site is ready, or after a pre-construction meeting that we have on site, just to make sure that everything is ready and good to go for us to start, we'll authorize the equipment to deliver to the site. Transit time from the factory is 3 to 5 days. Our crew will meet the truck on site, offload the equipment, inventory, stage, lay the equipment out, and start installing. At the same time, throughout that process, India, you know, if we need to make any sort of adjustments to the site plan, we can do that. Site planning can be done all in the office through back and forth document revisions. It can also be done simplistically in the field. Hey, I want this to go here. Obviously, layout for us is extremely important. Once it goes in, it can't be moved. And then the total process really for any of the 3 designs plus the 2 to 5 area from the install side of things with surfacing and borders is going to be about 1 to 2 weeks. With great weather, we can get it done in 1 week, but it's construction. You never know what could happen. So 1 to 2 weeks as sort of a general average. And then going through closeout punch list inspections that you guys may set up, and then any sort of a corrective action that may need to be taken after the fact. Okay. All right, just a quick note on this. We are proposing this, should the town elect to move forward with this, you have the option, and how we propose this is to be purchased through a cooperative purchasing agreement, which helps save a lot of time. It's pre-negotiated pricing, done so at the national level by HGAC, our cooperative consortium. Allows us as contractors to provide turnkey proposals and scopes of work without going through the formal RFP process, but also for you as the purchaser guarantees that you get pre-negotiated and bid level prices. So I don't believe the town is currently a registered member of HGAC. It's a widely used cooperative agreement. We've used it in a number of counties and municipal agencies in Virginia over the years. Membership registration is free. It's very simple, and we'd be happy to connect you guys with HGAC to help guide you through that process. Okay, so here are the pricing, varying price levels across the different options. Each one of these prices that you're looking at is a fully inclusive. The only thing that you will not have as part of these estimates is the removal of the existing equipment. Equipment, freight, installation, mulch, borders, everything. And for the 2 to 5 area, the sand. Also to note, these prices include the HGAC discounts that you receive as part of that cooperative purchasing contract. Any
Can
questions?
you go back one slide, Jeffrey? Thank you. Are there any questions from council this time? Thank you so much
thank you.
for this and all the information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that gave us a lot to consider. Let's see. We are going to move on to new business. Item number 11. We're going to discuss code enforcement. We have had an issue in town with people breaking codes. A year and a half ago, we passed a fence ordinance. We have 3 new fences on Travis Street that went up with no permits. One of them looks really nice. One of them is absolutely illegal because it's chain link, and we decided, this council voted that there would be no more chain link in the town. It brings property values down. We have issues we went through with Tingler coming to Planning Commission. Nikki Tingler spent a lot of money having Planning Commission look at sign ordinances and changing the parapet sign ordinance. He put his time, his effort, his money. Now you have people just slapping up signs in town. This is against our code. The way we do our enforcement right now is absurd. Somebody has to complain to the town manager. This was not like this in the past. The town manager or the zoning administrator had the authority to go around and look for themselves and say, hey, a new sign went up. I didn't get an application for this. We're losing out on application money too, by the way. And we need to give our staff the authority to be able to follow through with this. they don't have this right now, so it's random. So if somebody complains, that's what they act on. And then that upsets our citizens because they sit back if they're the one complained on. And they say, well, my yard doesn't look half as bad as so-and-so's yard, and you don't do anything to them. So the way we have things now, it gives the appearance of not being fair. I would like for this council to look at this and give staff direction on how we can properly take care of following through with enforcing the codes that we put into effect. Otherwise, just get rid of the codes. Just let the town just go willy-nilly because, that's what's kind of happening right now. And I don't like it, but at the end of the day, the 7 of you have to make that decision. I spoke with our town manager. We're looking at Ms. Odom, who was with the Berkeley Group. Rather than hiring a full-time person, the town manager told me that we could give Ms. Darla Odom, we could pay her just some extra hours, which would be cheaper for our budget to go around to help with code enforcement. But I'm coming to you. I'm asking the 7 of you for your input, your direction.
So what happens if someone is violating a sign ordinance? What do you fine them?
Well, in the past, we had a sign go up illegally on a parapet in town, and a past town manager went to them and said, that sign needs to come down. They made them take it down, and it wasn't compliant anyhow, so when they did apply and put a new sign up, they put a proper sign up that the town approved. I'm not necessarily saying we fine them, we can, that's up to you. I just want a way to follow through with the code enforcement that we have. There are yards around town that the grass gets up to your knees, and unless somebody complains, nobody says anything. It's not followed through with. This causes a rodent problem, which again, I go back to hantavirus, and now we got a cruise ship. People dying with that stuff. This is serious issues in this town.
So the reason I ask that is, and unfortunately, when these things...
Your mic, Valerie, sorry.
Unfortunately, when these things continue, they set a precedent. And one of the biggest one here in this town is sandwich boards. Every single person has a sandwich board. Now, are you going to go to every single merchant and tell them they're in violation because they've had a sandwich board out there for the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, that is something for this council. We can prioritize the codes and which ones we want to look at first. Again, sandwich boards are against our town code. They block the sidewalks. They are dangerous when people are coming through in wheelchairs or with strollers. They are problematic. So, yes, they're nice. We come across as being not business friendly if we take those sandwich boards away from them. But, again, why are we making these codes if we're not going to enforce them or follow through with them?
When was sandwich boards outlawed?
I don't know. I know that we discussed
That
that.
would have been like 2018. That was back with Reese when state made all governments do a sign ordinance at that time.
Because, everywhere I go, they're everywhere, and, when you're horizontally challenged with parking and trying to track people in, sandwich boards are
they're nice.
not offensive to me. I think, we all know there's a fine line between being heavy-handed and, I would submit, 90% maybe, or 80%, I don't know, of new signage is by new folks opening a little business, and I bet you half of that 90% don't even know you have to apply for a permit or stuff like that. So, it's got to be a way to do it and not come across.
Well, we know when the new business is going to open. Maybe there's a packet we give them and say, hey, these are some of the things you need to know before you walk into your shop and start doing things. that's a way to alleviate it from the front end. Yes, Ms. Jacobs?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, if I may, I did just want to mention that the attorney is on the call. We did have a brief conversation with staff, and I'll let him speak to his experience with other localities, but I also did have a conversation with Ms. Odom, and it may be that there's a discussion that's had later about if you wanted to do proactive on certain items, whether it's tall grass or something specific, that is outlined and defined, but that by and large, most localities are complaint driven. One of the things we do not have is a formal complaint form, which is something Ms. Odom is working on. And then just to highlight that on average, we probably have 7 to 10 complaints per year, most of which are grass related. So, if Mr. Moore wants to say anything.
I'm happy to go in. Can you hear me, Madam Mayor?
Yes, really, yell.
Bowling Green, the process is different than any other locality I've ever worked with, and that is typically in Virginia anyway, code enforcement, whether it's building code or zoning code or other ordinances, is driven by complaints that are made. And when complaints are received, the town is working on those. So there's nothing legal that prevents staff from initiating enforcement if no complaint has been filed, but that's just not normally the way it works. I mean, it's really a question of resources for the council and resources. And if you want to allocate more resources to having dedicated full or part-time person sort of lead the code enforcement effort to actually start identifying potential violations on their own. I mean, you can do that. But there's no law right now, ordinance provision, town code provision that prevents the town from enforcing it. The town is enforcing the codes exactly as every other locality does, and that is when someone comes in and complains about a potential zoning violation, a building code violation, then the town investigates that and gets the facts and enforces it appropriately. So, it's a question of, I don't know why people aren't filing complaints. I think staff is dealing with the ones they get. So, it's kind of a combination of people not evidently filing complaints, and also, how much council wants to dedicate staff time and resources toward proactive code enforcement.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Gore? We, as a council, you don't have to do anything to this, but this is worthy of a discussion because, again, we have had some issues in town and people get on Facebook and complain, but they won't fill out a form and give it to the town manager.
My opinion right now would be with all that we're trying to get straight and fill in and hire, I am not for hiring a part-time or full-time code enforcement person. I am for being diplomatic and responding to complaints right now, and being cognizant of if someone comes in to get a business license, we say, oh, by the way, here's this. Yeah, I'm not spending any money on that right now.
Okay. Very good.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll give my 2 cents and.
Go ahead, Mr. Royce. Ms. Davis.
Yeah, the opinions, as far as like, hey, these people, why those people have high grade, there's also people that will complain about the complaints too. And, one of the things I was thinking is, as soon as if we move that onus from the constituent to make the complaint to a proactive thing of other people initiating it, that just moves who the bad guy is. They're still going to be there. There's still going to be and in fact, it kind of funnels it and it gets it back on whoever's doing it, whether it be India or, we get another person as that code enforcement officer. But it's really at our direction at that point, but it's going to really make a face of the bad guy at that. I completely agree about not wanting to spend any extra money on something like this. And I completely agree about just getting a better form. I think that might help out some awareness on that. I want to mention sandwich, but you mentioned sandwich boards. I did want to mention another side of that. Sandwich boards, yeah, they have issues with the sign ordinance, but I think a greater thing that we don't really enforce either is things that are in the VDOT right away. Like, that's a separate issue entirely, which is another discussion. And that is everything other than, like, I'll speak for myself and other people. Like, I didn't move here to go away for a few days and come back to an HOA style notice on my
Right.
So that's what I want to stay away from.
Okay, Ms. Davis?
I agree with David.
Thank you. Mr. Hagerman, do you have anything to add? Dr. Chenault, do you have anything to add to this conversation? Okay. So from what I'm hearing from council, Town Manager Jacobs, I think that if we could have a prepared form, which you said you're proactively working on with Ms. Odom, and maybe a little more information for business owners or even new property owners moving in.
Yeah, we can create a one-page flyer of kind of what to know about code enforcement and have that out front as well with the code enforcement complaint form and post it online.
Okay, are there any other suggestions from this council to the town manager for this? No. Okay, well, next we will move on to item number 12. And that's the proposed budget presentation. And at this time, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. India Adams Jacobs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members of council, members of the public, India Adams Jacobs, town manager, and I present the proposed FY27 budget. So just to kind of set the table for tonight, this is the fiscal year 27 proposed budget. It'll highlight what the town funds, our budget process, priorities, financials, the proposed 2027 budget timeline, as well as next steps. Starting with the town's mission, which is to serve the citizens. This was identified by council at a council strategic planning retreat 2 years ago. They also identified the town's vision, which is listed here to include a vibrant, lively, thriving community that is sustainable, resilient, connected regionally, walkable with connected neighborhoods, a destination for visitors, a small town vibe in a village with historic charm, a cultural and business center of Caroline County that has beautiful spaces and streetscapes that we maintain our land use control, utilities, public safety, attractive physical assets, amenities and parks, independence and self-governance, sense of community, locations of services for commerce and culture, as well as solid waste collection. Taking a look at our values and operating principles, we operate on transparency, open communications, good customer service, honesty, integrity, sound financial management, follow-through, staff development, welcoming, that we are facilitative, creative, innovative, efficient, effective, as well as exhibit trust. Highlighting for the public just a little bit about what the town funds. Obviously, we have public safety, which includes police, staff vehicles, equipment, building expenses, infrastructure and public works and utilities, includes wastewater, water, public works, including staff, vehicles, equipment, testing, vehicles, beautification, and parks maintenance. Second part of that, we have administration, which includes staff, audit, budget preparation, legal services, day-to-day operations, IT, software, staff development, and then economic development and tourism, including Harvest Festival, music and green, and tourism and events. A bit about our budget process. The adopted budget serves as the town's operating capital budget for the next fiscal year. The town operates on a fiscal year from July 1 to June 30th. Our budget must be balanced. It needs to include contributions to capital reserves. There's two funds that are featured in our budget, general fund, as well as enterprise fees, funds for fees from services. Highlighting just a bit about federal and state impacts as they do impact our local budget as well. There are some historical grant funds that the town has historically leveraged through programs such as USDA to fund our police vehicles that are becoming more scarce or not funded at all. So those are things we're going to have to plan for in the future, as well as our state impacts. There's no budget passed yet at the state, which we are still monitoring. There's some collective bargaining and paid sick leave expansion, as well as conditions like retail cannabis that we will have to look at from a land use control perspective. Highlighting and moving forward to FY27 budget priorities. This is strategic plan retreat guidance, and I won't read every one in our goal areas, but to improve and maintain the town's water and sewer system has been a number one priority of council for the last couple of years, including upgrading our infrastructure, including our water supply, which is a project I'll touch on a bit later, that we have excellent town staff that are well-trained, appropriately compensated, and has development opportunities that are also dedicated to public service, that we focus on economic development to support business development and expansion that enhances the tax base, and that we have smart growth that supports development that improves community vitality. There's also additions here for vibrant downtown to ensure that the town remains active and attractive and historic. Some of that is occurring, as well as inputs from our Economic Development Authority, as well as our BGV Main Street, our National Main Street affiliate, that has reached mobilizing status and pursuing advancing in the upcoming year. One of the other goals is government performance to improve organizational efficiency, financial management, to provide fiscally responsible, sustainable, and resilient financial management, as well as county relations that we communicate and collaborate with Caroline County for mutually beneficial results. A bit about our budget for this year in terms of alignment with Town Council's strategic priorities. In our general fund, we have some enhancements here to improve customer service, hours for operation at Town Hall, enhanced funding for buildings and grounds, some funding for economic development, funding for tourism initiatives, the BGV at Main Street, as well as some funding for enhanced code enforcement. There are some other funds, emphasis in terms of continuing funding for proactive preventative infrastructure maintenance that we prioritize and support for our grant surge management and administration, as well as funding for our Economic Development Authority that has been reprised in the last year. In terms of looking at our real estate values, next slide, please. Thank you. You'll see here just a brief chart. This does represent a slight decrease of 0.49% decrease from the prior year. The abatements with the Commissioner of Revenue's office, there was a decline from May 25 until now. Next slide. I'll jump into some of the overview. For our 27 proposed budget, there are no proposed water rate increases, no proposed sewer rate increases, no proposed real estate increases, proposing a flat 13 cents as same as FY26. There's no new personal property tax increases. There's a slight 4% increase for trash from our GFL trash refuse service provider, which equates to about $1.32 for residential, as well as $2.36 for commercial. This is just a breakdown of where your tax dollars go, and this will be up on the website for anyone who wants to take a look. It's about 26% of your local dollar goes to water and sewer, 19 to public works, 16 finance, 15 town council and manager, 10% police, 7 general services, 5 to capital projects fund, 1 penny for events and activities, and 1 transfer to the EDA. So in terms of expenditures for all funds, we have that there about 8.5. Moving on to our budget at a glance, the same numbers there for you to take a look at. This also highlights the transfers out of about $755,300. Moving on to funding for capital infrastructure and our capital finance and grant surges. Next slide. For budget alignment with strategic goal areas in terms of excellent staffing and government performance, we're proposing one full-time capital projects and grants manager. We have a total of about $11 million worth of projects awarded over the last year. And that capital projects and grants manager will help with the assisting managing those. Historically, the town has had instances of obtaining grant funds or loans for major capital projects, and just not being able to see those projects through. So we'll make sure we don't go through that again. So that position will help with that. We will reclassify, proposing a reclassification of 1 maintenance worker 1 to maintenance worker 2, 1 part-time seasonal maintenance worker, reclassification of payroll specialist to staff accountant, as well as reclassification from a utilities billing specialist to customer service assistant focused on utilities, as well as some contractual support for economic development and human resources on an as-needed basis. In terms of market alignment, the 2% cost of living adjustment, which is kind of consistent with what's going on in the region. Council also passed the supporting the 10% healthcare increases back in February, and then we are compliant with all mandated minimum wages at the state level. Highlighting in our general fund, You can see some revenues there, some slight increases on base stock tax as well as meals tax, up from $450 from $375 in the prior year. We did increase that 1% from 6% to 7%, and we'll see that in the chart a bit later. A slight increase to our real estate tax projected from $257,000 from $250, as well as a slight increase to our intergovernmental service agreement with Fort AP Hill, up to $75,000 from $50,000 budgeted in the previous year. On the expenditure side, I mentioned the healthcare increases, the COLA for staff, but this also does include the creation of a general services department for centralization of contracts.
Indy.
Yes.
And I'm not for stopping this at all because we're on a crunch, but I just got a text from a citizen that says if it's something that Easy Fix, she can keep going, but the audio is so overdriven and distorted you can't hear anything that's being said. So it's not an easy fix, but I'm not proposing you stop. I'm just, no, it's the whole meeting, they said. So.
In terms of administration, the 3% increase from FY26. This continues funding for council and as well as the manager, continues contingency for emergencies, and this does include tourism funding for BGVA Main Street. In finance, we see a 27% reduction from FY26. This does include enhancement from part-time to full-time. This does include additional staffing hours for enhanced office hours back to 4 days, with 1 day being reserved for our ICSA support as well as our events. And this does continue to budget for audit and pre-audit services. Under general services, the proposed budget total, and this would be a new department of $156,000. This does include contracted positions for full transparency, for a town attorney, as well as a senior planner, deputy zoning administrator that council approved a couple meetings back, as well as the economic development support, and then outsourcing our payroll function. In public safety and police, a 6% increase for retention incentives for BGPD staff, some enhancements in fuel costs and maintenance costs of vehicles. Moving forward to the volunteer fire department, we do get a grant from the state. That's just a simple pass-through to our volunteer fire department. The next, Public Works, Utilities, and Development, 8% increase from FY26 for $435,759. This does include one-time increases for required buildings and grounds, facilities, maintenance improvements. That mostly includes Town Hall, but also some upgrades at the police facility and some of our sidewalks around Town Hall as well. The next slide includes our transfers to other funds, $755,300. This includes transfers to enterprise funds of water and sewer, transfers to the CIP and events and activities funds, as well as new transfers to the EDA fund. There's a total on the general fund totals for total general fund expenditures and transfers out from general fund to other funds, about $2.4 million. Next slide. That breaks it down a bit further. I'll jump on to enterprise funds, starting with water. There's just a picture here so you can see the replacement of one of our oldest fire hydrants in town. It was put in about 1932. One of the things we were able to get through some of our processes last year, working with Moonshot Missions and SERCAP, was a updated GIS internal system, so we now can track all of our most of our assets in town, and this was identified as one of our oldest fire hydrants, which council approved up to $40,000 to begin replacing those. So there you see the old one on the left from the 30s with the new one that was replaced right there on the right in front of Town Hall. And we plan to continue to do that in future years. There's also a picture of just some of our outdated infrastructure, corroded infrastructure, so you can see some of the things that are being replaced. In terms of water fund, our water quality improvement project to address our gross alpha consent order is included in this 2.1. We do anticipate about $1.3 million for that in this upcoming year. It also continues repairs and maintenance and continues the capital infrastructure fee. Next, moving on to the sewer fund, you see a picture there from when Main Street was under repair last year. And the next picture does include a repair of our drying bed rehabilitation that was completed, just so you can see the condition when it was not functioning before to the rehabilitation of a pilot for a dewatering bag that is in place now. Another picture. And highlights on sewer fund, we do have about 2.7 budgeted for a wastewater treatment facility belt press. That will be through a state loan with potential principal forgiveness, as well as continuing repairs and maintenance and continuing capital infrastructure fee. Highlight there. Another picture there with the total enterprise funds, about $6 million. The proposed rates on the next chart that shows no increases. The next slide includes real estate benchmarking peer communities, where you can see us in comparison to some of the other communities. There's Ashland, Warsaw, Tappahannock, Orange, Town of Urbana, West Point, Colonial Beach, and Gordonsville. We do have one of the lowest tax rates based on these benchmarking peers. I would also mention, I know it's come up a couple of times about whether or not the town could split its real estate taxes into the semi-annual payment. There's only one locality that does that, which is Gordonsville. Everyone else assesses annually. Next, personal property, as well, we're one of the lowest, at about 72.
Excuse me?
Never mind.
On the meals tax, we're one of the, in the top three, we're slightly behind Orange and Gordonsville at 7%. Water and sewer monthly cost there, broken down as well. Moving on to events and activities fund, there's a proposed $45,005 for Harvest Festival, Music on the Greens, Fourth Fridays, parades, and holiday events, as well as coordination for Wine Fest, which is looking to be brought back after 7-year hiatus post-pandemic. Moving on to Economic Development Authority Fund, EDA approved their work plan and a request for $25,000, which includes $2,500 for Fourth Friday banners, veterans banners, Town of Bowling Green 360th, $5,000 for mural funding, $5,000 for improvement, facade improvement grant, and then $12,500 for the Wine Festival. Next slide includes our ICSA fund, which we're looking to establish separately this year, as there's been an uptick in activity with the ICSA, because that will need to be audited separately, so we are creating a separate fund for that, and that's up again from 50 to 75. Moving on to our CIP. It does serve as an outline for large-scale capital expenditures. It is a plan. No expenditures are guaranteed to occur if we are unable to pay for them within the operating budget. And I've just included some of the concepts earlier that you guys saw earlier. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, for the playground concepts that you all saw from Carolina Rec. We do know that those playground replacement does need to occur, so those concepts are there for the 2 to 5. Next slide, on the 12 to 5 as well. And in the general,
Jacob, excuse me.
Yes.
On that budget item, did you kind of budget one of the options? Did you use one of those options as a model?
I used the top option, so you could work your way backwards.
Number 3?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next slide, Town Hall Rehab Phase 1 is included in there, as well as the community park playground equipment budgeted. They're at about 105. We did defer the leaf truck till 2028, as well as the courthouse rehab, and then the Town Hall ballroom floor rehabilitation. It's been moved to 2028, and we'll be looking at investigating that with some preservationists to determine the best path forward. In terms of the police, we did have a lower number for that at first, but as I mentioned, the USDA program that we used to leverage to fund, there's no funding for that currently, so we kicked that out to 2028, but we are budgeting for having to fund that on our own in the future. Moving forward to the water fund and the water quality improvement and wells project. This is our Gross Alpha project with VDH. Those are the numbers that we have broken down in terms of working with Stantec and what they project moving forward. We have the 1.3 for this year. And then we do have a water meter replacement, and I presented that a couple months ago. There's no other changes to the water fund. Under the sewer fund, we did mention the sludge management upgrades for the Belt Preston facility. If the pilot program for the drying, dewatering bags work, there's a possibility that that's an option we could go with long-term instead of just a short-term option. We are still investigating that and working with the state. And Baden has identified additional work as it relates to the oxidation ditch rotors at about $435,600, as well as the sand filter rehabilitation, which is not the same thing as the drying bed rehabilitation and dewatering box, and that's there as well. Those are the only updates. And then we had deferred the generator lift station for Oak Ridge and Lacey Lane, as there's a hazard mitigation grant that we may be able to receive funding to get those generators replaced. or added. Moving forward in the budget summary, there's the roll up there with all of the numbers by him and all of the expenditures. This is our rate summary in the next page. I will highlight all of the proposed 27 rates are the same as the 26 rates with the exception of 2. As you can recall, the town attorney, myself, and Davenport did extensive work on updating our 301 special tax district numbers through the strategic planning retreat, and council chose the option 2. And with that rate, as identified by Davenport and calculated by Davenport, the 301 tax district rate will be at 31 cents, and that will also, the real estate will be separate from that at 13, which also brings it to about 74 cents for that district. I know that's been a question. The solid waste collection has increased to 4%, so you see that there, and those are the only 2 changes on the proposed rates.
Are there any questions for Ms. Jacobs at this time?
On the next slide, briefly, we're on to the budget timeline. Provided the estimates on April 1st. We are at the budget proposal today, set the tax rate for advertisement, looking at moving forward with the budget public hearing for the 28th, and then budget adoption by June 4th. And then in the next step slide kind of sums it up. Based on council direction today, I will have to get the ad in the paper by tomorrow at 2 to meet our May 12th deadline to run an ad for May 12th as well as the 20th for the advertisement on May 28th, and then adoption and appropriations on June 4th. And with that concludes my presentation.
Any further questions from council? Dr. Chanel? Okay, yeah. How about you, Mr. Hageman?
No, I was just gonna say, do what you gotta do to get this advertised.
So do we need to make a motion for that?
Yes, you need to make a motion.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that, we give India, oh, it's even here for me? All right.
13 penny.
All right. Staff recommends that the town council move to set a public hearing for May 28th and advertise for a real estate tax rate of 13 cents.
And the budget public hearing.
And then public hearing request for town council action needed. The budget public hearing is set and advertised and required public hearing for Thursday, May 28th at 6 p.m.
I have a motion from Councilman Hageman. I have a second from Vice Mayor Coyle. Is there any discussion? I would like a roll call taken by the deputy clerk.
Councilmember Hageman.
Yes.
Councilmember Stork.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanel. Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Voigt.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to item number 13, and that's the appointment of the interim town treasurer, and I will turn this over to the town manager at this moment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Included in your packet is the resolution that I'm presenting to propose the appointment of interim town treasurer, Ms. Morgan, to be effective tomorrow and be added to all of the systems as well as the town accounts.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion from Councilman Voigt, a second from Councilman Hageman. Is there any discussion? Deputy Clerk, would you take a roll call, please?
Councilmember Hageman.
Yes.
Councilmember Stork.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanel. Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Voigt.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to item number 14, appointment of Deputy Zoning Administrator. At this time, I'll turn this over to Ms. Adams Jacobs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Including in your packet is an MO as well as a resolution for appointment of Deputy Zoning Administrator, Ms. Darla Odom Orr. This will give her the authority to handle code enforcement matters as the Deputy Zoning Administrator, essentially me delegating that authority to her to follow up on code enforcement matters, sign plans, and help with development review in my absence if I'm not able to attend, to create more efficiency for the organization.
So we'll need a motion on this.
That's still useful after the discussion we had earlier? Yeah. Okay. No, well, so moved then.
So a motion and a second from Councilman Hageman. Is there any further discussion? Would you please take a roll call, Deputy Clerk?
Councilmember Day.
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Boyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanel. Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Voigt.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 15, the sewer main replacement bid award approval. Ms. Jacobs?
Thank you. We did put out this RFP a while ago, or IFB, excuse me, for the section further up North Main Street for that repair. We did have some bids. And this is for the repair of manhole 128, so 124 to 128. The most responsive bidder came in as Langford Excavating and Utilities LLC in the amount of $590,978.80. So we are asking council support to authorization for myself and the town attorney to execute a contract with Langford as soon as possible. The lawyer was posted, and so there'll be a 10-day protest period, but after that, to have them to move forward with that repair as quickly as possible.
Do I have a motion from this council?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's from manhole, like what street to what street? Do you know?
That's Sunset to, I don't have
South?
the GIS.
To the
No, I don't
gun,
have-
to the gun shop?
No, that's not all the way to the gun shop. No.
You don't know how many
This is it's about 330 feet for what is the emergency section, so.
Okay.
Did they give a time window on how long things will be shut down for this one?
I think they said a couple weeks for just this section, so
It's a
yes.
bit of a detour for that one.
Yes.
Will it be similar to the last one downtown?
Not as deep, and so they hope that they can move pretty quickly, but everything else is similar.
Will we be able to keep one lane of Main Street open and have traffic alternate going back and forth, or will we have to shut Main Street down the way we did last summer?
I believe one lane could be accommodated, but I'm not going to speak on behalf of the contractors. That's their responsibility to have a traffic plan approved by VDOT, and whatever VDOT mandates we'll have to do.
And when will we know, when can we get that information?
After we go through the protest period and get under contract, we can get that information as quickly to you and the public. Last time we had the closure, we had a conversation with all of our business owners that were going to be impacted, but we have to communicate that through VDOT, and we'll get notice out.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
No, I mean, this is one of those things we have to do.
Would you make a motion
Yeah,
then,
I was
please?
gonna kind of a little text to read here. I move to authorize the town manager and town attorney to execute a contract with Langford Excavating and Utilities LLC in the amount of $590,978.80 and coordinate with the vendor all necessary details regarding priority project site 1-MH124 to MH128 of IFB-2026-02.
I have a motion from Councilman Voigt. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilwoman Davis. Is there any further discussion from council? Deputy, would you please take a roll call?
Yeah.
Councilmember Stewart.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Boyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanel. Yes. Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Voigt.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Adams Jacobs, do you have anything for informational items? We'll move on to our second public comment. The rules are the same as I outlined earlier. Would anyone like to come forward to speak at this time? Going once, twice, closing public comment. Are there any member comments at this time? Ms. Davis? Mr. Wright? Mr. Webb? Dr. Chenault? Ms. Coyle?
No.
Mr. Stork?
No.
Mr. Hageman?
No.
At this time, I would like to have a motion to go into closed session, please. And after that motion, we will take a 5-minute recess.
I move to go into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1 for discussion of performance of specific public officers to complete the performance evaluation of the town manager.
I have a motion from Councilman Voigt, and a second from Councilman Hageman. All in favor, raise your right hand. Dr. Chenault, is your hand raised? Okay, the motion passes. Councilman Hageman. All in favor? Thank you, Thank you, John. Okay. We are now coming out of closed session. Would like to have our council persons certify that we only spoke about what we went to closed session for. Ms. Davis?
I certify.
Mr. Voigt?
I certify.
Mr. Webb? I certify. Dr. Chenault? Thank you. Vice Mayor Coyle?
I certify.
Councilman Stork?
I certify.
Councilman Hageman? Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion on action for what we discussed in closed session.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we, given the recent performance evaluation of our town manager, that we give a merit-based salary increase of 10%. A one-time performance incentive for the over $11 million she has been awarded or secured for the town. A one-time performance incentive of $25,000. And then the other three adjustments and amendments to the compensation package that we addressed in the closed session.
So I have a motion from Councilman Stork. I have a second from Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? Where's our deputy clerk to take a roll call? I'll do it. Ms. Davis? Mr. Voigt?
Yes.
Mr. Webb? Ms. Coyle?
Yes.
Mr. Stork?
Yes.
Mr. Chenault? Dr. Chenault? Thank you. And Mr. Hageman?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Is there any other business before this council? Hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn. I have a motion, second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, let's go eat. Thank you.